Hey guys, it's Puri and this is going to be my review of the Pulsar Xlite V2. I have the retro version here, really nice colorway, and this is the medium version. They also have an Xlite V2 Mini. This is the regular sized one. Okay. As you can see, I also have Superglide V2 skates on here. They have a matte finish on it, so I think one complaint a lot of people have with glass is that sometimes it moves too fast, and when you're trying to make stationary clicks, it can drift a little bit. And I think this coating kind of addresses that issue, where it still has the glide of glass, but then you have a little more control because of that matte surface where it's not as glossy as some of the other glass skates I've seen. So these skates have been really nice. I like having this extra flat surface over just having these kind of thinner shapes as skates. So having that little extra surface area does feel nice, and these skates make the mouse feel so much better. I love them. They're really, really nice. So in terms of the shape, it's a right-hand ergo mouse. My hand measures 8 inches or about 20.3 centimeters, so I have larger hands. I use a claw grip, so I kind of rest my palm on the table and then I kind of hold it like this with my middle finger forward and then claw grip on the left click. And this is usually how I'm kind of controlling the mouse. Just to show you what it looks like, here's the claw grip. Here it is with a palm grip. And then here it is just fingertip. It feels comfortable in all 3 grips for me. And overall, the shape of the mouse is really, really nice. I like it because it's not a cookie cutter copy of some of the other shapes I've seen. And they've done some of their own lines here, and it works out really nice. The mouse feels really nice in hand. The shell is pretty rigid when I squeeze it. If you push down on the bottom, there is some flex. It's an open bottom design, and this does flex a little bit, but from side to side, not really. In terms of the balance, it's like pretty close to the middle, I'd say. A little bit towards the rear, tiny bit. On left, right. It feels pretty even to me. I can't really tell. It might be a little bit different, but it feels pretty balanced to me. I love the colors. I think that I haven't really seen a colorway like this from other companies. So one thing I'll say is that these new Chinese mouse makers put all the best components in really affordable packages, and I'm finding them to be very high performers with good build quality. So in order for me to feel like I want to spend $100 on a mouse now, it has to offer something pretty different than what I can find from these AliExpress mouses now. For $30 to $40, you can get a really, really nice mouse. So I think Pulsar has a tough job ahead of them, needing to differentiate themselves from those mouses and put themselves kind of a tier above. And designs like this, colorways like this, their packaging, having compatible sets of skates, arm sleeves, mouse pads, things like that, and having that experience of not only making an affordable mouse, but also engineering the peripherals and accessories with synergy with their products. I think that makes Pulsar products pretty special and worth the premium over getting something more cost-effective. It's not to say those cost-effective mouses aren't good, it's just that these do offer something a step above. Okay, so here are the clicks. Okay. side buttons. I've been using this mouse for a couple months now, and the coating has held up. Doesn't really wear down. I think it's getting a tiny bit shiny where I'm clicking it, but for the most part, it stayed pretty clean. I'll clean it off once in a while, but really it hasn't gathered much dirt or grime, and I was expecting it to gather a lot actually, so impressed by that. In terms of design, I think it's one of the most aesthetically pleasing mouses I have. I love how they also designed their PCB with their see-through bottom shell. It's constructed well. Here there's a tiny difference in the gap between the button and the wheel. The wheel kind of leans over to the left side, but you can see here it's definitely favored towards the left mouse button. And while it's not a deal breaker, something like that I do notice. And as I mentioned earlier, those really cost-effective mouses have pretty good build quality. So I am starting to expect premium build quality if you're gonna charge more than 80, 90 bucks for a mouse now. So these kinds of things I will be looking at and noticing. In terms of the seams here, it's a little bit uneven. It's a little indented on this palm portion, and then over here, the palm portion sticks out a little more than the shell part. Other than that, it's built solidly. I've dropped it a few times, it held up. And then I want to talk about the switches. The clicks are just whatever. I'll have to look up what switches are actually used and I'll list it here, but they're just whatever. They don't feel amazing, they don't feel terrible. The sound is a little high-pitched. There's not really much pre-travel, and you can click them pretty fast. The thing with this shell is that it's connected and the buttons are not separated from the rest of the shell. So if you're clicking up here, it can get caught, but if you're clicking down here, you don't really have that issue, okay? Other than that, cool little Pulsar logo here. It charges with USB-C, and with the glass skates, it weighs about 60.5 grams. So I'd say this is a worthy competitor to the Razer Depth Adder V3 Pro. I think this is the best ergo mouse right now, and it's my favorite mouse overall out of any mouse. So this is the standard I test against when I'm looking at ergo mouses. The surface has a little texture and grip to it, so it feels really nice in hand. In terms of build quality, I could see zero imperfections. It's just impeccable build quality. The switches are the best in the game in my opinion, and I think that I've seen a lot more companies making their own optical switches, and I'm eager to try those out. I'm sure you'll see those soon. This is just the gold standard in my opinion, and this would be an S tier mouse for me, while this is going to be A tier. It just doesn't feel as rigid in hand. It's got a little more flex. It does feel a little softer in terms of the shape. It's got more rounded features. And this one has a little bit more angle. Not to say that it's angled very much, but it does feel more angular in hand, if that makes sense. The scroll wheel on this just feels light, very responsive, easy to roll up and down. While this is not bad, it just feels a little muddy after using that wheel. Clicks feel okay. Clicks on this mouse are just the best I've ever felt. They're so crisp, there's no pre-travel. Right when you click it, it responds, and it's just so nice. This is just a sick, sick mouse. It's so nice. And I think that's why it costs so much. So while I think this is the best mouse, I think there are other ones that are more cost effective that can give you a majority of the same experience. So there are levels to it, and this is a pretty expensive mouse, I think at $160 when I got it. I don't think this is the best in terms of value. It's just outright performance, this is the best. This does provide a lot more value while also being an excellent performer. The other mouse I'd compare it to is my Roccat Kone Pro Air. This is another lightweight ergo right-handed mouse. I think this one is less talked about. I don't see it featured a lot, but I think it belongs up there in the conversation with the best lightweight mouses. Just has a really nice shape for my grip style. The contours of the mouse are really nice, and the shape is a lot different than the standard shape I see these mouses coming out with now. The mouse wheel itself is very nice as well. I like the material and the flat design here with the large surface area. Construction quality is, again, impeccable on the Roccat Kone Pro Air. I don't know if it's Roccat or Roccat, somebody tell me. But yeah, I really like this mouse. I think it's not talked about a lot, but this is one in my rotation. For right-handed ergo users with larger hands, I think it's very nice. I think it's like 70 something grams, so it's a little bit heavier than these 50 and 60s that are out now, even the 40s, but I'd still consider it very lightweight. Okay. So the clicks on this are kind of muffled, but they feel good. They feel really solid, and there's not a lot of give, there's not a lot of travel. The side buttons do kind of sink in a lot, feel kind of mushy. Nothing to write home about on those, but the rest of the mouse just feels really good, solidly built, doesn't have a lot of flex. I like how it has large pads for skates, big surface area. It's got these contours on the side that give you a little more grip, and just overall feels really nice in hand. And let me see if it lights up. I don't know if I have battery on this one. No, maybe not. But it has a honeycomb LED design, so it looks pretty cool when it's lit up too. So I hope this review was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to stay tuned for the next one. I'll be releasing at least one a week going forward. I have at least 10 mouses to review. And overall, I think this is a mouse that I can recommend for those who want a more premium mouse. If you want just the bare bones features, go ahead and look at some of the other mouses I have on my page, like the Darmo Shark M3 or the VGN Dragonfly F1 MOBA. But if you want something in between budget and super premium, you still want to get some bang for your buck and not really compromise on performance, I think this is a great option, the Pulsar Xlite V2. So that's all I got for this one. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you go ahead and stay tuned for the next episodes coming soon. Like I said, I'll be releasing at least one a week. And as always, thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.